Good evening, everybody. Or good morning, GM, GA, GN, wherever you are. It's 1 o'clock here in the morning in beautiful Thailand, avoiding all the rain and storms happening in Vietnam. I am still coming to you live from holiday. I don't have as much of the energy juice as I normally have because it's been a long few days. Saying goodbye to the little lady and getting focused back in the charts today. As of every Thursday, 6 p.m. UTC, we do HyperTek Talk. And we're here to catch you up on what's going on in the Solana Hackathon. We have our pitch coming up, and then we're going to do some market review. We're just shy of 50 of you here. If you know the drill, just before we get Adrian's time running into it, do me a favor, retweet the stream, like it, and we're about to drop a bunch of alpha. I'm also going to get out of things that beep and whistle so we don't have to listen to that. We got lots of news coming from Adrian, a catch up on the Solana Hackathon. In just 4 days, we have the official Pumped Off Fun pitch in front of Ansem, Tully, Murr, and Chow. Oh my God, when I'm tired, I can remember all their names. That's crazy. And hey, thank you, Frank, for reposting the stream. And I see you here every week. Muchly appreciated. Same with you, Drop Car, Yow. We're just shy of 80 people. So retweeting and reposting this stream does work, and it helps gets the word out. And then we also don't have to repeat ourselves a lot because you can get all the coverage you need to know what's going on with this team with 20 people every week right here, 6 p.m. UTC. So we're just shy of 100. We're gonna get running. If you have reposted, thanks, you're champion. Remember, wherever you are watching from, whatever platform, you can ask us questions directly. Hello, Canna and Adrian from Crypto Joe's. I can put your comments right up on the screen like that. Let's go, Hyper. Thank you, Macy. Good to see you here as well. Adrian, I know you're probably the busiest guy on the team, and we're coming up to about a week and a half left in the hackathon, a week left in the hackathon. Where are we at? You've been at it for quite some time. Maybe give us an overview of what you have already accomplished, what you accomplished this week, and what the next week is bringing.
Yeah, so this week was quite an exciting one on the tech side. We managed to build out the kind of generalized version of this. So what we're trying to do here is make it as easy as possible to integrate with Solana if you're a builder. If you want to build any kind of application on Solana right now, it's incredibly difficult. There's a lot of really deeply technical things that you have to figure out to get the data in, because the way Solana stores the data is just in raw binary. It's just ones and zeros. It's not in any structured format. It's not in a database format that people would expect. So if you need it in a database, you need to figure that out. If you need it in your application, you need to figure that out. And there's a lot of really technical things there, and we're trying to make that as easy as possible. And up until the start of this week, we had a proof of concept for this whole system using our own coin flip, and then we also built out one using Pump Fun. This week, we managed to build out a system that can generalize this to any program on Solana, with some caveats, but no, we'll take the wins for now. So that was the end goal for the whole hackathon, to be honest, to get to that point, to be able to generalize this system to any program on Solana. and we managed to achieve that this week. So on the tech side, things are coming along really, really well. And on outside of the tech, because at the end of the day, this isn't just a hackathon, although people call it a hackathon. Hackathons are usually just about shipping tech. This is much more of a startup competition where you're judged not only on the tech that you ship, but on your ability to run a whole company. Like, are you doing all the things that are required for a startup? Are you doing marketing well? Are you doing outreach well? How good is your go-to-market strategy? How good is like your networking? How good is the overall pitch? Are you talking about it using the right language? All of these things are part of the judging criteria that people are looking for within the hackathon. So we have to ship the tech, of course, but then we also have to have a good strategy, good marketing, good outreach, all of these things that are necessary to grow a company. And so we're kind of switching gears right now into really doing a lot more of the biz dev stuff, really doing more outreach. We're trying to get hold of a lot of educational platforms because that's how we're going to spread the word quickly. Obviously, we've got some developers in the pipeline who are excited, who want to build with the tech that we're building, but we want to educate as many people as possible. So all the new builders that are coming in, it's projected that 15,000 developers are going to enter Solana next year. And those developers don't always know everything they need to know because they're only just now entering the ecosystem. And right now, we basically ask them to chew glass and like figure it out. But hopefully with what we're building with HyperTek, we can make it as easy as possible for them to build. And by getting in at the front door, so to speak, with the educational platforms, we're really going to be able to push the envelope to teach these new devs this new tooling so that we become the default way that new builders build on Solana. And then that's how we can scale the company. That's really our go-to-market strategy here, is thinking about getting in on the front door, base ground level, educate these 15,000 new developers that are going to enter next year, and then we can scale that for them because many ideas are not even possible today. If you want to build something, it might cost $10,000 in server infrastructure and $100,000 in engineering time to ship even a basic app. If you've got the technical skills, you can kind of discount the 100,000 because you're like, it's free, I do it myself. But it still costs you time, which is still valuable. Many tech people forget that their own time is still valuable. So there's a ton of upfront cost to build even the simplest thing on Solana today. And we can replace that with something 95% cheaper that gets done in 5 minutes. And that's where I think we can really start to see a lot of usage of this platform because we're going to open up the door for ideas that have never been possible to build purely because these teams don't have the funds to do it. And now they will be able to do it. So we can see a huge growth in apps on Solana. That's really the goal here.
Wow, dude. You speak so eloquently. I always feel like I sum it up. So, like I said, you speak eloquently. Like to me, for the layman's terms, I love the use of analogies, and you've used a few that I really like. But thank you to all of those tuning in. If you're just tuning in, we have just over 300 of you. Give this a retweet. We have the CTO of Hyper on Soul, who does the HyperTek, all of the technology for the company. And if you're new and you're just hearing this for the first time, HyperTek is building the tools for developers to build on the Solana blockchain. They're creating basically the equivalent of the iPhone App Store, but for the Solana blockchain. And currently, Adrian is leading our dev team, and they're in the Solana Hackathon that ends. When does that end, Adrian? Was it about a week away?
Yeah, it's a week. It ends on the 30th.
And they've been going at this for, I believe, a little over a month, and just creating this image, this brand, this vision of how to onboard not only people to Solana, but more devs to the Solana blockchain and making it easier to do. And Adrian's an old dog at this from the Ethereum blockchain, but also before that has been in since the the dot-com bubble, the whole Web 2 San Francisco hype. So, he's been in this space for quite some time. And a lot of the people on this team, if you don't know, the CEO is also been around since the Bitcoin days and the ICO of Ethereum, and in the space a long time, and good friends with Adrian. And they've had this vision together to build this product, and it's quite amazing. And Meta put his money where his mouth is, not only for this project, but also to get the eyes on the project. And coming up in 4 days, if you weren't there for the auction, the Pump.Fun auction, it was pretty amazing. And when I say Meta put his money where his mouth is, he won first place with $50,000 bid to get Adrian and the HyperTek team in front of some of the biggest developers on Solana and a couple of the biggest, KOLs, I guess, for lack of better words. I mean, how do you describe Ansem? Just everybody follows him on Twitter. He has definitely a presence. He definitely has some influence. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Adrian? What's going on with the Pump.Fun?
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, we're getting to pitch 4 of the biggest names in the Solana ecosystem that have so much sway. In terms of like Tolly, obviously the founder of Solana, co-founder of Solana. So he wrote most of the code for the original version of Solana. So highly technical guy. Has a crazy track record, worked for Qualcomm and worked on some amazing things, on some really deeply technical things. So he's an incredible mind to get on this stuff. And the other 3 are Mert, who needs no introduction on X, really, probably arguably the most influential person on X at the minute in terms of Solana anyway. And he runs Helios, which is an infrastructure company. So of course that there's some overlap there. He understands how to scale infrastructure and sell to developers, because that's what he does for a living. And then the final 2 are Chow and Ansem. Ansem, obviously the biggest influencer on the kind of retail side of crypto, and Chow is the kind of dark horse that many people in Solana maybe don't know, but the builders certainly do. Chow is very high up. I don't know if he leads it, but he's definitely very well connected with Alliance DAO, which they fund a lot of the moonshot ideas in crypto get funded by Alliance. They back founders and really push them hard, and they invest in them. So he understands how to invest in big growth ideas as well. So these are 4 very influential dudes on Solana, and we're going to get the opportunity to pitch them what we're building here. And I think what we're building is it's a moonshot idea. It's the kind of thing that will help if it works. This is going to help scale Solana massively to developers that don't currently build on Solana, and that's how we're going to help Solana win in the long term. We're going to help developers. Like, we can get retail on, but if there's nothing for them to do, they're going to leave. We need more and more interesting things to do, and that's what Apple did with the App Store. They allowed this huge proliferation of apps that made the iPhone what it is today. Obviously, the iPhone's amazing tech, and they revolutionized the UX and the form factor and all that stuff. Now every phone looks like an iPhone. Where before there was a lot of diversity in how phones looked, but then the iPhone just nailed it. Now every phone looks like an iPhone. But it was really the App Store that did that. And Android had to catch up with the Play Store, and apps really took off from there. And right now, blockchain tech doesn't have that. And from where I'm sat, I think Solana is the best positioned to be the chain that sees that kind of growth in apps. But to see that growth, we need developers. We need the people to build the apps. And right now, there just isn't enough tech there to help those developers out. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build that technology that can help the developers enter the ecosystem and build those apps. And then we'll start to see that kind of growth on Solana.
Spaceman Deb, time.fun auction, not pump fun. Yes, thank you. If I did say pump fun auction, I am an idiot. And it is the time fun auction. It is 1:15 in the morning where I am. So I'm going to cut myself a little slack, but I love that I get called out on it. Appreciate it. I do like to get the facts straight for sure. And that's also a good opportunity for HyperTek, because it's, almost an initial feedback before the end of the hackathon, because are we not technically pitching basically what you're building on the hackathon?
Yeah, absolutely. And that the timing on that has worked out unbelievably well. It was not something that we necessarily planned. It's just the way that it worked out. But of course, being able to pitch Tolly and Mert and the rest 2 days before the end of the hackathon is going to be great for us in terms of polishing for the final 2 days to make sure that our deck is good, our pitch is good for the submission on the hackathon. But then it's also getting eyeballs on us, which will help us with traction. It can help get more developers just become aware of what we're doing. And it's also going to be live streamed on the Solana X account. So there's many more eyeballs than we could ever get on our own account are going to be able to see that. And I think that's going to be a huge, huge advantage for us. If we can get more eyeballs there, we can start to use the final 2 days to really polish everything up and make sure that we've got good traction to show, and we've got like just the deck polished as much as we can to put us in the best possible place we can to do well in the hackathon.
Speaking of eyes, we have 346 eyes and ears at the moment in the room. Thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. If you're just tuning in, we are catching up with Adrian, the CTO of HyperTek, the products that they're building during the hackathon, and the time.fun auction pitch, which is in 4 days. It would mean the world of us. Obviously, you should be following Hyper on Sol, on X, Twitter, and we will be obviously reposting that stream. Would love to see, we've already broken 350. Would love to see all 350 of you there in 4 days, to hear the polished version, the finished version, if you will, of what Adrian's been building all this time, and pieces of the puzzle that he doesn't want to release yet, because it's so, what I've seen from the backgrounds, the foregrounds of this machine, is they definitely do not want to overpromise. They're working on so many things, but you only hear about a few, and they're plowing through this. The fact they've already accomplished as much as they have in 7 months is better than most projects I've seen since I've been in this space. And the proof is in the pudding, right? Yeah, the proof will be there this Thursday when you're meeting those 4 influential people, with the finales of the hackathon. And it doesn't stop there, people. When the hackathon's over, the whole team is still building, and they're dedicated day by day, with things upcoming. Adrian, maybe if you want to share your screen, get that ready, because talking about eyes on the project, what is this legends.fun community leaderboard where our HyperStack, and HyperStack is the name of the HyperTek, and obviously we are Hyper on Sol. There's a few mouthfuls to be said there, but the scope of what they're trying to do is pretty impressive. So let me throw Adrian's screen here to the stage, and maybe you can walk through it. You are on mute, just to remind you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, hey, so Legends.fun it's actually a project built by another team that's in the hackathon, and they are basically building Product Hunt for Solana. So for those who don't know, Product Hunt is quite a big thing in the tech world, where you can launch your product and kind of get it out to the world, get people to see it. And there's a lot of early adopters of tech that will just browse Product Hunt to see what's new, what's launching. And then if things are good and people like them, they get upvotes, and it's a way that you can really get a lot of traction on your product. And Legends.fun is attempting to do the same thing for Solana. And right now this is integrating with the hackathon, so you can actually list yourself as being an entrance into the hackathon. So we've been pushing this because, one, it's a cool idea, it's a cool product, and it's a good way to really show that we're part of the Solana ecosystem, that we're really trying to push forward within Solana, helping other Solana projects out, and it's a good way for them to give us feedback as well. So this is our page here on legends.fun for our Coliseum Hackathon entry, which is HyperTek. And I won't read out the description here, but this is kind of the idea of what we're trying to build. And these are some code samples, and we're really trying to get as many upvotes here as possible. So we have 218 right now, which is amazing. The community's really come out in force. I think we were the #1 project this week for the Coliseum Hackathon, at least, not necessarily on the whole platform, but within the Coliseum Hackathon. And I think overall, out of all of the hackathon submissions right now, I think we're sitting at #2 the last I checked. So that's amazing. We're still pushing, still trying to get more upvotes on here, just to really show.
How do we get more upvotes? Let's show a little love. We got 372 people, 373 people listening. Go to legends.fun, connect your X account, refresh the page, and click upvote for HyperTek. It's that simple. I would love for our community to do that little thing to show Adrian the love that, I mean, this guy's been busting his balls all day, all night during this hackathon. The least we can do is a few mouse clicks on our end. So it's legends.fun, connect your X account, refresh the page, and upvote HyperTek. It is that easy, right, Adrian? Do they need to do anything?
It's absolutely that easy. Once you've got your X account linked, it's a single click. So here I've got upvoted, because obviously I upvoted my own product. You just go there, you click upvoted, and you're good. That's it. That's all that's needed. It's a very simple process once you've linked up your X account. And yeah, it just helps us out, gets us some more visibility when people are scrolling through the legends.fun page. They can scroll down, and there's all sorts of stuff here, but you can see the Coliseum Hackathon here. So Nomu is #1, and we're sitting at #2 right now. So the more upvotes we can get, maybe we can push up to #1 as well. And I think that would be greatly appreciated for anybody else who hasn't already upvoted us. That would be a great help to us to just show that we're out here, we're doing it, we're building, we're doing it in public. I'm posting these updates on X fairly regularly, not every day, so the last week, but things have been pretty busy. But that's yeah, we just really want to show that we're part of the Solana ecosystem. We want to do this for the benefit of all of Solana at the end of the day. That's what we're trying to build, something that helps any dev, not just Solana devs, Web2 devs coming into the space that want to build something. Maybe they throw together a Solana program, and they can get running with it. They can build an application with that really quickly, and that will benefit all of Solana if we can do that. And it's also a great benefit for the existing builders who are spending a ton of time and money setting up this infrastructure for themselves, and we can handle all of that for them. So we're really doing this at the end of the day because we want Solana to succeed, and this is my best shot at trying to help with that. And if everybody else can help us on that mission, that would be appreciated.
Dado says, let's go for that first place. Exactly. If you're here, you're listening. If you're new here, and this has all been new to you, we are hyper on Sol. We were a meme CTO that turned utility, that grew to a team of 20 people, aces in places kind of a team, and a lot of old dogs in the crypto world, in the technical world, in marketing. Like, a lot of the bases are covered, and a lot of people are donating their time, the majority, my understanding. And the passion that this team has is unparalleled to what they've already accomplished. So, I mean, literally, this is just a quick, easy, connect your Facebook to, I'm having a brain fart because it's the wee hours of the morning, legends.fun, find the HyperTek, our text, and let's upvote that. Let's get Adrian some love. Adrian, any last words? We're just shy of 400 listeners. Do you want to do like the old school Reader's Digest, couple of minutes, regroup for all the new listeners in the room, and then we say adieu to you, and I can jump into the what's going on in the crypto markets?
Yeah, I mean, for those who haven't been listening, or maybe have just tuned in and don't even know who we are, I'm Adrian, the technical lead on Hyper, and right now we are participating in the Coliseum Hackathon, which is the biggest hackathon in all of crypto, not just on Solana. There's, I think, $2.5 million of prizes that get given out. Investment from Coliseum, which is a VC fund. They invest in the top 10 places in the hackathon. And there's a bunch of different tracks, so you can build on consumer apps or DeFi or whatever. And we've entered into the infrastructure track, building out tools for developers that will help them get the data they need off the Solana blockchain as quickly as they can, so they can just spend time building rather than spending time managing infrastructure and writing a bunch of code just to get the hold of the data they need to build with. We can just give them the data they need so that they can start building immediately. And then from there, we can see a huge growth in the amount of apps and the interesting apps that are being built on the Solana blockchain. And that's, at the end of the day, going to benefit all of us, because we all love Solana. We're all here for Solana. We're building here. We're investing in projects. We're participating in the ecosystem. And the bigger the ecosystem is in terms of apps, then the more chance we have of Solana growing even bigger than it is today and becoming the default blockchain for any new developer to build on. And that's my goal here. And I think that's a goal that's aligned with many other builders in the space. It's what we all want. And I've just decided to chew glass on a pretty difficult problem here, but that's what makes it fun. I enjoy doing it. I love taking on hard problems, and I see no reason why we shouldn't just continue doing that.
What is a little bit of your background? I know you and I known each other now since this project, and I've asked you this question before, but you do have a pretty interesting background in the tech world. Do you mind giving us like a 2-minute who are you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started off life as an electronics engineer, so I was working at the kind of bottom of the stack on the hardware, and from there I started working at a company, and I I loved the work, didn't love the company. Ended up transitioning a little bit within that company to doing some software. Was writing some embedded system stuff, USB stuff, that kind of thing, and then realized that software was really what I was good at. I love doing it, and from there I really pursued the Silicon Valley dream. I worked for a company in San Francisco, Google venture-backed company that was growing at an absolutely silly rate, and I was very early there. I was one of the first engineers, and that was really my first proper software job. So I cut my teeth in one of the most difficult environments possible, scaling that kind of speed on a very small team. And I really learned probably more than most people learn in 10 years. I got in 6 months working at this company. And from there, I kind of pivoted out on my own. I started an AI company trying to do automated minutes for, we were kind of targeting legal firms. We built out hardware and they could put that in their offices, and it was like fully local and private and all that kind of stuff. And I think it turned out that was a great idea. We were just 5 or 6 years too early. The tech just wasn't there yet. So that company didn't succeed. And from there, I became CTO of a beverage analytics company, helping restaurants in fine dining optimize their wine program or beverage program in general, but primarily focused on wine, and just kind of building out data pipelines and like infrastructure that could help manage the scale of their operations, because many of these restaurants are managing 16 million bottles of wine, and they have to keep track of them all, and they have to know how to price them all, what they need to get rid of, what should they buy more of, all that kind of stuff. And we were helping out with that. And then throughout all of that process, I got deeply involved in crypto as a hobby. I just love the space. I love the ethos. Like the cypherpunk ethos is really what drew me to crypto. I love the idea of self-sovereignty and censorship resistance and all of that kind of stuff. And that drew me to Bitcoin in the early days, or relatively early. Didn't feel early in those days, but in retrospect, I was incredibly early. And then really what lit the fire under me was Ethereum. When I discovered programmable blockchain stuff, that was okay. This is what I want to do with my life. This is amazing. I can write software that will live forever on a blockchain. And from there, I got involved deeply in DeFi. I was DeFi summer was like one of the best periods of my life. I absolutely loved what was going on the EVM side throughout that, and I got into NFTs and kind of been around the block and all of those different kinds of things. And then I got into Solana about 6 months ago as somebody I'd invested in stuff in Solana. I'd been a user of Solana since probably 2020, but then became a builder about 6 months ago on the Solana blockchain. And yeah, really just fallen in love with it since then. It's as a programmer, without getting too technical, there's just a lot of things about Solana that's just really elegant and it's a really enjoyable experience building on Solana, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And it feels exciting because all the tooling's not there yet, and building tooling for devs is something that I've been passionate about for a long time. That's the company in Silicon Valley that I was working at. We're building tooling for devs, and it's something that I really enjoy to do, just really helping developers move quicker. And I saw an opportunity that I could take a lot of the pain that I was feeling building on Solana, even though there's a lot great about building on Solana, there's a lot of pain as well. And I've taken a shot at trying to solve some of those pain points. And it's fresh in my mind because I'm new to the blockchain as a builder. So why not take on the challenge of trying to solve the problems that I ran into?
Solid positioning, solid idea. Well, I can't thank you enough again for your time. I mean, it speaks volumes when the CTO shows up every Thursday. If you're just tuned in or this is your first episode, we do this every Thursday, 6 p.m. UTC. We usually have different members of our team join, share a little bit about them. We sometimes have guests in various projects. If you are a Solana project or want to partner with us, we have already over, I think, about 30 different communities using some of our technology with the coin flip and the random number generator that Adrian created, which was all on chain, a first time for that to happen. There's lots going on. There's lots of different ways to get involved. If you want to be part of it, you can just be simply a holder of the Hyper token, which is hyperpigmentation, or you can reach out to any member of the team if you want to, get more hands-on. We can definitely always discuss things. It's been pretty exciting. If you have to run, I can appreciate that. If you want to stick around, you're always more than welcome. For those that have been following me for a long time, hey, we just broke 420. Happy. I've always reported on what I call the money flow cycle and how I analyze markets. That's kind of where I'm going to go to next in this show. We've decided we're going to kind of do that every week as well. I've been asked to give my insights on the money flow cycle and what's going on in the majors. And then if you guys have any questions, I will try to get to those as well. Crypto Joe says, thank you, Adrian. Understatement of the day, brother. Understatement of the day. What is this? Thanks for explaining. So hyperpigmentation is gas for the utility. I guess it's one way to look at it. Hyperpigmentation is just the meme coin that we CTO'd in the new year, and we've really kind of grown from a CTO meme to a project with utility and building, and the money that we will be making will be buying some of the token, but it will not be burnt because that would entail a security for certain countries in the world. My understanding is it'll get locked up for like 1,000 years, but that's for another show. We can get into that another time. But yes, if you're interested in the project, it is a pump fun meme CTO. The meme was called hyperpigmentation. And what Adrian is building is the tech division, HyperTek, and he is building the stack right now. Is there other token other than hyperpigmentation? No, there is not. Good question. Thank you for asking. Clarify that. It is just hyperpigmentation. And we have a few early KOLs that did jack shit for the project, apparently, unloading their bags at the moment. And that is why our chart is a little down. But none of us and the VIPs and the team that have been in there for a while care, because we know everything that's coming up. And we learned many lessons along this road of building this community. And one of them was KOL suck. I've always said that from day one if you've been following me. But there was some early KOLs in the game, and there's not many left. And they pretty much over the last few weeks have all been slowly unclipping their bags, which is representative of the chart, which just means it's a great time to entry. If you have been showing up here every week and listening to what's been going on with this project, you would know there's a lot of bullish things. And the market cap right now you're just going to wish you bought more at the end of the day. It's coming up to what is it? Show me this right there. Hyper birthday coming soon. Yeah, just a few months away for sure. I think it was a January thing. Metablock would know the exact date because this was his concept. And somebody just said that's true. I was looking at 15MC, great entry. Yeah, I mean, for those that have followed me for a long time, I've made some stupid calls. We called Pepe and Pepe coin when there was multiple zeros. And part of the trick of this game is not to try to be a trader with good projects. Just throw, whatever you can wipe your ass with at it, forget about it, throw it on a ledger or keep it in a wallet and go back and look at it. And that's been a lot of my best success in some of these. And for those that have followed me for a long time, that's exactly what we did with Pepe coin. We knew the world would eventually find out that Pepe wasn't the first Pepe. And we had something like I don't know, it was a 4-figure percentage return on that one. I'm not speculating where I think HyperTek is going to go. But I've been in this game long enough to know when you have this many OGs working together, gelling and building, that it's not hard to see a project like this gain traction. And I mean, we're 4 days away from the pitch to some of the biggest players at X and the co-founder of the blockchain, and then the hackathon at the end. And they've already got revenue from their tech, and other communities creating and building revenue using the technology. So this to me is a sleeper play. It's definitely been on my Pope's picks on other streams that I've done with my other trading buddies. Speaking of my other trading buddies, for those that have been following me for some time, I have agreed to work with HyperTek and share some of my trades and weekly analysis for the community. We're bringing back the Discord. I am doing this on holiday right now. I am in Thailand. I will be back home in a week, and we're going to open up the Discord for HyperTek. And in the Discord, I will have channels of where I'm posting what I see happening in the markets, the money flow cycle, and then some of my trades, as well as a few friends that I trade with that trade precious metals, gold, and same with a couple of traders that are on the team that trade for a living. They've agreed to put some of their trades in the chat as well and just share some alpha and help. A lot of people don't teach finance or talk about finance. We're here to answer questions. No such thing as a dumb question. You don't know what you don't know. And we don't know everything either. I'm not saying that. But I have found success, and I do this for a living. I have nothing to sell you at the end of the day. I've never asked for a dime of your money, and nor will I ever. So let's get into the market flow, or what I call the money flow cycle. And when we're looking at that, we need to look at the big picture of what's going on in the total market cap. And it's kind of playing out like we discussed last week. Let's enlarge this window here. This is the weekly total market cap. So all the monies that are in crypto. And we stayed in this top consolidation box here. We wicked right down at the bottom. And I mean, the last few weeks, the Trump talks and blah, 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 the tariff garbage and all that. We already discussed that. But we wicked out and we've settled back in. This is good news. This is what we wanted to see. And we reset the stochastic RSI. We're back at the bottom. And when we look at what happens when we're in the bottoms, we typically rip. We're in the bottoms, we typically rip. Bottoms, we definitely ripped, right? So I'm still very bullish based on the data zoomed out. If we go in even on a 3-day, we do have a micro bear that just formed. This is good, people. Remember, we never want to go straight up. Things that go straight up come straight down. Retracements are healthy. It's good to have a few. It provides entry opportunities for those that feel like they've missed out or have money on the sidelines. Adrian, peace out. I just see your notes. I mean, really, people, this team is blessed to have somebody like that running the CTO side of things. But back to the numbers. Where were we? Sorry. So what we want to see here is obviously a higher low. It would be nice to hold this box. I wouldn't be surprised if we do some contestant with this area in here, which is roughly right around here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see, a little bit of a belly before we get our next cross and take off. So we might see a stinky wick come up and then retest. And that's what we would ideally want to see. That's the ideal situation of what we would want to see is a retest and a break of this 4.2, I believe it was, on the top of the body, $4.22 trillion market cap. And remember, I've said before, we've always had big shakeouts. Right now, I'm not seeing, outside of black swans, any big reason to panic. I've been pretty level-headed this whole period here. Even when people are saying that it was over, the data wasn't saying that. Let's just have a quick look. What is this? Dogecoin or Cyberx out? Why $1 still possible? Bitcoin skeptic Peter Schiff, Muppet, pitches on China, gold take this app. Trust me, bro, token. Yeah, so no major news. Durable goods is the only thing coming up for quite some time. So we've gotten through the inflation chats. We've gotten through the, what was it? He said 155% tariff talk the other day. What chart is this? Holda Strats. This is the total market cap of crypto. This is all the money of every single token combined. This is how I like to see, if money is leaving the total market cap, you either want to be shorting or getting ready to rebuy your positions to dollar cost average, because when money leaves the market cap, prices fall. So I like to know where the money is going before I get into my trades. That being said, I still hold a lot of spot positions that I've been holding, some of them for years, because I believe in the tokens, and they're all up. So are they down from their all-time high? Sure, but are they up from my entry? Absolutely. And everybody has to determine when they want to take their own profits. I always say you never go broke from taking profits. Taking profits is not a bad thing. Right now, I don't think it's that time. I think it's time to dollar cost entry. There'll be some good entries on some of this stuff. And it looks like we'll have a retest area of most likely the 3.5 trillion, but we'll make up this difference that left. Like, how much was this that left? This money will come back. I mean, a bunch of it already has. In 3 days, $1.04 trillion left, right? Now it's bounced to, in the last 15, it's only at 606 billion. So will we see that other 606 billion flow back into the market? I believe so. I really do. I still am on par to say I think we're going to get into that $6-7 trillion total market cap before we see the full pullback. But no, nobody has the crystal ball. I mean, I like to zoom out, until we have proof of, we have higher lows. We keep having higher lows, and retracements are healthy. They're going to happen. They have been happening, but we're still onwards and upwards. Stochastic has reset. So that's on the weekly. I mean, just in the last little bit here on the daily was really quite interesting as well. Let's have a quick look on that. We can see the 200 EMA, this thick green line here, acted as support, and we can see the belly of my micro bear starting to form, right? And this is where I say, if this was a token, this is where I want to start to enter, because this is typically what happens. We'll get the cross here, and then price will go back up to here, come back down probably, and try to go for that retest. And this is the kind of action that is healthy, normal, and we want to see. We've reset the critical fear and greed. We've reset stochastic. As much as this sucks if you were over leveraged or anything like that, these are positions that, situations that make things healthy in the market. And we can even see, if I just clean this up a little easier, we can even see like we have this consolidation area right here on the daily. This was our resistance up here, just quick and dirty. Like, yeah, sure. Okay, there we are. I like to use bodies. And we've been in this 640 billion, roughly 17-18% fluctuation since July. All right. So this is where everybody panics. Remember, buy fear. Don't listen to the sheep. We add in, we look at the technical data, and then we add in our indicators after for confluence, right? We got a parallel channel right there. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, probably a little bit of pullback, a retest, and then out. And that pullback wouldn't surprise me. Sorry, I just got a new screen while I was out here. I bought some portable screens. On a total side note, some 15-inch LCD 16:9 Acers. They're like, I don't know, maybe less than a 1/4 inch thick. They weigh nothing. They're beautiful, but still getting used to them. So yeah, like we've seen this. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe even a wick down into here or something along those lines before we start to pour money back into the market. And the indicators are showing that as well. We're at the bottom of Bollinger, bottom of Stochastic. We're starting to belly there. All things are looking good. It's looking healthy for money to return back to the market with all systems staying normal, no black swan events or anything like that. So after that, if money's coming into the market, we want to know that, obviously, to place our bets, and then we want to know where the dominance is next. And that's what I always look at next, is the Bitcoin dominance. And this is the chart that we want to crash, for those that don't know. Let's look at this on the 3-day. And those that have been following me for some time know I haven't changed this parallel channel since almost, it's good. It's true. Damn, coming up to 3 years. And I didn't even want to change the channel because I just extended it because it has been that long. And we're still out of the channel. So that is good. We had the wick. And this was November of last year when everybody said we were in an alt cycle. And I said we weren't because we hadn't broken the channel. We haven't seen an alt cycle yet. Now, it doesn't mean that one is coming. I believe one is coming, but there's no guarantees. It looks like it's about to retest this channel before it breaks again. I really hope it does. It is at the top of stochastic, which is good because usually when you're at the top of stochastic, things fall, right? So how all the charts have kind of reset themselves and aligned, I think has been pretty powerful. It has been fighting the 200 EMA, which it has been a top of since March 23, and March 23 being the year 23. So I imagine it will retest, come back down to the 58.66, bounce up a bit to probably where it's at, and then really hopefully start to see our alt season, our fall. That is on a 3-day view. When we zoom in a little more on the daily, we're still below the 200 EMA. We can see that that's where we retested it with the tariff news. Actually, we shot right through it, of course, but the candle body. And we're coming up. I would like to see this start to curl and turn on the daily, and that'll tell us that we are starting to turn again and head down. Be nice to just do this and have the bull and bear lines, the EMAs, just pointing straight down. They are quite narrow. They are just above the median as well. We have broken with a green out and a red in. Typically, we see the bottom reversal of that. We'll be looking for that. But right now, money that's coming into the market because of what's happened the last little while is, probably looking at Bitcoin. And I mean, this was what we talked about last week of it coming back down in the last few weeks, bouncing off of this trend line and going. I mean, we called it pretty accurately. We gave 3 scenarios, and this was the most likely scenario that I said, and here we are. And we'll leave that again. That's on the weekly. If we get down to the daily, this is where it does get a little more interesting. You can see this belly of the bear. We've come down underneath the 200 EMA. Typically, we'll see a little bit of a pullback, probably to these wicks at 109 before we start to take off again. We're at the bottom of stochastic as well. At the moment, somebody just said, hold on, I've got multiple screens going now. They don't buy much altcoins, I guess. Now, altcoins are your highest risk. They do run well, and they're your biggest reward when you know how to play them and get in on good projects and good tokens. Dollar cost average your entries, and understand how the direction is moving with that project. Sometimes it's not half the game of trading is patience. You might love something or a token. That doesn't mean it's the best time to buy it. You never want to buy something at its all-time high. That's why right now with these KOLs selling off, it's a great time to buy Hyper on Sol. Shameless plug on, I'm not even paid by these guys. I believe in the product and the utility. So, it is here. Bitcoin is showing that it's tested this area, and if we want to mark it up a bit, here's our bottom support, 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 resistance wick, resistance candle body, little bit of that breakout just above it, right? But this is our consolidation box of what Bitcoin has been doing. And I mean, what is that? From the bottom to the top, almost 22%, right? I mean, altcoins can do 22% in a day or two. That's why they're more of a risk, right? But that's where volatility is opportunity. But I mean, 21.22% basically. There's lots of opportunity there as well. And over time, we're seeing higher lows, right? This was our bearish cross here. We got as low here, a little bit of lower here. This is when everybody panicked. What is this here? Minus 30%. This is normal for bull runs. If you go back in the history and look at pullbacks, there's minus 53%. Before it went back up to its all-time high then. What was this one? Here's a minus 30% back in June 21. I remember that one. So when we look at it, oops. Where does it look like we are if we compare the past, right? In here or in here? I think we're still in this area and have this to grow to where we are there. And remember, we also haven't had retail yet this time around. To predict where Bitcoin will go, I don't know. When you get into all-time high scenarios, I just find it tough. I can tell you direction and where I think it's going, and support and resistance. We'll hit all these numbers. We'll retest the 123.7. We'll bounce around a bit for sure. Do I think it'll get to 1 million this bull cycle? No, I don't. Could it double from now? Maybe. Might get to that 250. So this is kind of what we want to see. That retest before it takes off. And there will be some kind of a thing. Now, where I think you really got to start to question if things get dicey is under that 93,000. I mean, the whole China tariffs talk of 100 and whatever percent on top of what it was, 153 for some items in total I've read, is only brought it down to 101. The 90s, the low 90s is where you would definitely have to question what's happening, as to why Black Swan. Is it another war? Is it some sort of whatever? But for now, because of the money flow cycle, I just don't see that happening. But we will see a breakdown in price in Bitcoin when the dominance drops, because it means the money is leaving Bitcoin and going into the higher risk assets in crypto, which are all the alts, of course. Ethereum, I mean, has played out pretty much since my stream in March on it. This line was back in March, and we said it would want to hold here before it retested and took off, because this is kind of its latest all-time high. And it's interesting, the wicks have come up to that, not been able to break it. We're coming up to a little more pain and price for Ethereum by the look of it. It is at the bottom of stochastic. We do have a micro bear. It'd be interesting to see how much of a hold this line here is going to be. It definitely wants to hold the 370.71 price point to show its strength. It would be, I think this will be a shallow belly, and it will probably start to do that now. You might see another couple of these gross wicks down in here, which would get you some nice limit buys. But we are now down at the bottom, and we know when we're down at the bottoms, price tend to rise. This is on a 3-day. We look on the daily. Still well above the 200 EMA. We've risen a bit for sure. We haven't seen that curl. We're still kind of spreading down direction, whereas we want to see like this right here, this belly. That's what we're looking for, to see movement in the opposite direction. It does look like it's wanting to hold this support, which was resistance back here. And if money flows into the total market cap, people tend to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. I mean, we also have a wedge right there. Ting, 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 ting. Retest. If it retests positive, it's going to bounce. So there's a lot going on with Ethereum at the moment. I'd put a little bit lower bid in, probably to the bottom of these wicks here. You might get a lucky hit before it takes off again. Would be my 2 cents. Even on the 15 minutes, it's showing there's going to be a little bit of a pullback. Coming up to another micro bear, and we want to see this micro bear higher than that one, right? That's how we maintain our bullish, right? So here's our low of our last micro bear. Looks like we're about to get across and get into another one before we take off into a micro bull and retest, right? However that may go. We want to stay higher than this low to maintain bullish momentum. So we might come down to these price points before, have to retest before we can go. So yeah, I would have a bid in at 38.37. There's already bids down in here showing. But as long as we're having higher lows, maintaining some of that. I mean, this is on the 15, right? So don't get time drunk. Always zoom out. It could easily go right back down to there, but it's battling that 200 EMA on the 300, under it on the 4 hours still, but still respecting it on the daily. Solana. Oh, thanks, Macy. Sorry, I just looked at the other screen. Love the TA boat. For those that haven't followed me and have only met me through Hyper, this is what I used to do. So I'll be doing this every week after the HyperTek talk. And if you have a token that you want me to look at and just give you my 2 cents and run my algos on it, I'm going to duck out of here. This was from what we marked up last week, I believe, because I've been on holiday and I haven't touched anything. I mean, we stayed in that channel. We're at the point in 4 hours and 54 minutes where we're going to retest this channel. If we take these drawings away, we can see we're starting to belly, this belly that I'm always talking about, which reverses the direction. This belly of the micro bear is starting to happen here. I would expect some price pullback for sure to the 185 maybe. You know, nothing goes straight up, but probably that would be a perfect world kind of a thing. See that curl, get the cross, get the retest out of here. We might have some pullback into this area as well. Maintain that support. Same thing looking like Ethereum. I mean, we have a triangle happening. As well, hitting right there. So be interesting to see. I mean, one of three things happens if a triangle. It either continues to consolidate, which wouldn't be a bad thing, or it breaks out in either direction. If it does break down in the downwards direction, we want it to respect the median, which would be 172. People would be panicking. It is in the middle of stochastic RSI. So it's not reset at the bottom like it was over here at your 174. We got two consolidation rectangles, obviously from different time frames, and it seems to be fighting the top of this bigger consolidation. I normally have these color coded by the time frame I draw them on, but right now are just green. I apologize. Oh shit, there's 550 of you. Thanks for tuning in. Can we get some TI and Hyper extra bullish on this project? TA right now on Hyper, no. And the reason, I'll tell you the reason is because I know the wallets that are selling right now on the project, and it was all KOLs. So the downwards trend over the last few weeks has all been artificial based off of a few KOL wallets selling. I mean, you can go on chain, you can check, they're the same wallet selling. They're almost sold out. So when I have that kind of information on a smaller market cap token, it's a little harder to do the TA when I know it's being manipulated by a few wallets. So I'll do that next week. I don't think the team has any problem with me marking up its own token. I've never asked, to be honest. I've talked about it a lot. I don't think there's anything to hide. And the fact I've just also given off, some inside information that it's some KOL sells off right now. Why not? I'll do it next week. Because I said I would do the majors today, and then I've been asked to do gold. So I'll do Hyper next week. But my 2 cents on the hyperpigmentation project is in 4 days it's being pitched to Time.Fun, and the Solana Hackathon is almost over. And people have been talking a lot about this project during the hackathon. And we also have that legends.fun where if you're just tuned in or if you saw it earlier, let's help Adrian out. Let's go to legends.fun, connect your Twitter, and upvote the HyperTek, which is the tools that Adrian is building in the hackathon for developers for developing on Solana. We're in second place at the moment. Been great to show our love to Adrian to get it to first. I mean, any leaderboard, finalizing in the top 3 is always, eyes were on the project. So that's pretty cool. Makes sense. Thanks, Pope. Thanks for understanding, Frank. I'll always give my non-biased opinion. And for me to try to mark out right now would be totally biased, knowing that a few wallets are just selling off. Can you chart? Let's hold us. A few other people are asking on it. I'll do it next week. And then if there's any more, those wallets should be done by next week. And then it'll be more interesting. And the last one that I've been asked to do is gold. And I'll just have a quick look at it. So the money flow cycle is interesting because scared money always goes to gold. And when scared money is ready to reinvest and risk your assets, typically the price of gold falls and you see that money roll into the S&P stocks, and more risk tolerant money from that money will also go into crypto. Now, gold is being interesting based on world politics, at the moment, because a lot of countries are selling off their treasury bonds. I played a little video about this last week, which was really informative and quite interesting in my opinion, because selling off the treasury bonds also increases the price of gold. So buying at gold's tough right now because it's near its all-time high. Like its all-time high was just a few days ago at what was it? Go to candle body as opposed to the wick, 4,345 an ounce, all-time record. I mean, the critical greed is firing. That's why there's a dot and the candles are a different color. We've had a recent pullback on tariff news and other things. But, I mean, even on the daily, stochastic is reset. And on the daily, there is no critical greed. And it held the median. Dotted white line here is median. It wicked down to it, pulling up. I still believe there is some fear in the markets, and maybe we'll see a little bit of stabilization to gold in the shorter term. Might see how we consolidated in this period of time here. You can see resistance, support, kind of consolidated right in the middle of it, and then came down this red candle here, support before it took off. We might be entering a consolidation block here for gold. Is kind of what I'm thinking. Nothing can crank forever, but we are at the bottom of stochastic. Where are my tools? We're coming up here. We haven't had the cross of the lines like we have here, 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 and here. When we have the lines cross, it typically it means our lowest point. So that also indicates to me maybe a little more downwards pressure to the bottom of this consolidation zone in there. And the wicks have been fast on the lower time frames. I mean, my take profit target on the short term is firing, saying price goes up to 41.75, still firing, coming out of a micro bear on the 2 hour. Now, obviously, gold markets are, oh, this is where time zones screw me up because it's Friday, 2 in the morning. Yeah, markets are still going. Looking like we're climbing up to a bullish cross to where it wants to move up again before the next micro bear. We sucked a lot of liquidity out in this area. Price looks like it wants to move up to liquidity up here, which is still a weak high. Typically after a bullish cross, there is a little bit of a pullback. I can show you that on some, not so much with gold lately. A little bit of pullback there, but this might be the pullback before it does want to go to the 41.75 mark. We are at the top of stochastic as well, which typically indicates a little bit of a pullback. So we might be shooting for in this range. There might be I would put a bid in at around 40, is that 4098.02? I'd put my order in for that price to hopefully see it go up to the 41.73 for those pips. For those that are trading gold, that would be my 2 cents. We do have some gold traders coming to join the Discord. For all those, we're just shy of 600 now. For all those that are just tuning in, I am on holiday in Thailand. It is just after 2 in the morning here. I'm about to sign off. But when I get back from holiday next week, we're going to open up the Discord for the Hyper community. And I'm going to be posting a lot of my TA and then all of my alts that I'm in or alts that I'm looking at in own private channels, along with a couple other traders. That'll be sharing some alpha. Sorry, I'm reading comments if there's a pause. Drop car, hearts to you too, brother. Where to hold hyperpigmentation cold storage? Ledger will do. Ledger will do. That's it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to just seeing my TA or anything like that, I'll be doing this every week. We'll have special guests. Not usually, he's been here every time we've been doing this. Adrian, our CTO, will always be giving us updates of what's been going on. If you do have any questions about what's been going on with our project, HyperTek, Hyper on Sol, is our Twitter handle, Hyper, HYPER, on Sol, SOL. You can get hold of the team directly. We have a link tree that shows you all the stuff that we're building and working on, and appreciate all of you that come every Thursday at 6 p.m. UTC. Macy, thank you. Right back at you. Dropcar, thank you. Right back at you. Good night, Canna. On that note, I think it's a good way to sign off. Good night to you.